Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of Season 3 of NBA 2K24 MyTEAM, because I honestly think, number one, it's a good time to check in. Season 3 is starting to wrap up. We're going to start pushing towards Season 4, and I think Season 4 is where things are truly going to begin to get crazy with animations, badges, and SIGs on most cards. But there have been some pretty defined pros and cons this season, I think, and I think we should talk about them and also talk about the things, specifically with the cons, the way that they can be affected and changed to hopefully improve things in Season 4 and moving forward in my team, because I have seen some positive changes from 2K. Certain things are improving, and I want to give them credit on those things, but at the same time, there are too many things that haven't been improving that need to be addressed at the same time. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 17,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, tons of consistent daily content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So we will start off with the pros, because I do want to not just be a Debbie Downer and not sit here and be negative all the time. And there are pros to this season. I actually think there are certain areas this season that I have enjoyed a lot. The biggest pro from this season, in my personal opinion, is the revitalization, I guess you could say, of budget cards. Between all the dynamic duos that 2K did with Patrick Ewing and RJ Barrett and Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner and Nick Batum, LaMarcus Aldridge, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, etc., etc. There's a couple other good duos as well. There's a bunch of fun dynamic duos to use. There are great budget cards at literally every single position that are available now, especially with yesterday's dropping multiple 42,000 and 10,000 MT guys who evo up to absolute beast, amethyst, and diamonds. Even some of the best budget, like super budget cards in the game came out yesterday, and Mitchell Robinson and Herb Jones. Both of them are also awesome when they're evoed. Like, as a whole, this is such an interesting, fun, and exciting set that I think is going to be overlooked in a lot of ways. And I think, honestly, the amount of budget cards as of late in general is something that's going to be overlooked. But it's been, for the most part, really good. Franz Wagner, Brandon Miller, especially with his duo, is awesome from last week's drop. Dyson Daniels, Bilal Coulibaly, also awesome budget cards. OG Anunoby, Rui Hachimura, Nick Claxton. And it just goes on and on and on. And there's so many good ones. Andrew Wiggins is another great one. Austin Reeves with his Evo is a great one. LaMarcus Aldridge with his duo is also great. PJ Tucker's a really good card. And then this kind of leads into the second thing, which is that the majority of cards are actually pretty affordable. 2K has done a good job this season with making card prices pretty reasonable, and they're continuing to adjust, which is also huge progress. And the reason I say that is because yesterday we saw amethyst prices drop with the introduction of pink diamonds into the marketplace. Diamond prices dropped as well, and hopefully will continue to drop. And pink diamond prices are at 262,500 MT to start with, which is less than the most expensive diamond card when he was first available, which was MJ at 275k, wound up costing. So that gives me hope that we're going to stay under 300,000 MT for the most expensive individual card prices this year. And that is a really, really good sign, because we didn't see the price cap increase from diamond to pink diamond. Hopefully that continues. That's another huge W. And that means that all of these other cards will just continue to get more affordable. But I do think card prices are very reasonable. I think card prices are going to continue to drop as well, which is huge. All these diamonds are about to get to this 3-week mark where they start to drop in price, and obviously we haven't seen that quite yet, but it's going to happen pretty soon with a lot of these diamonds and amethysts. And the good thing about these diamonds and amethysts and stuff like this from the Tis the Season set and some of the other cards that came out recently is they're going to drop in price relatively quickly. It won't be all that long before you'll be seeing all of these amethyst cards, every amethyst card in the game under 50,000 MT, and every diamond card in the game under 100,000 MT. As a whole, I think card prices have made building a good team and using the cards you want a little bit more affordable in general as well, as long as the card you want isn't Wemby or Kobe or, I guess, Pink Diamond Giannis, the expensive lock-in sets. Outside of that, it's been pretty affordable and pretty reasonable as of late, though, so I think 2K deserves some credit with that, because card prices have actually been pretty fair. And I think I will say there's one other positive that I will give them credit for in this season, and that is probably going to have to be just the fact that the modes are more rewarding to play this season. Not the player rewards still, because the player rewards themselves still suck. David West, Otis Thorpe, even Dame for domination, DeAndre Jordan, the other salary cap players we got this season, Ron Harper, even Steve Francis from salary cap is going to suck, Artis Gilmore, Doug Christie. Like, none of these cards are actually very good, but the rewards in the actual modes this season are without a doubt better. For example, all of the unlimited rewards, the pack rewards, the diamond option pack, all that type of stuff, it is sellable. Same thing with the domination rewards being sellable in single player modes such as triple threat and clutch time. You make more MT off of the the door game than you ever have in these modes. So you're making more MT pretty much across the board, regardless of which modes you're playing this season, whether it's online or offline. And I think that has made it, again, easier to be no money spent or less money spent and get some of the top cards in the game without having to spend money. I really do think it is the easiest that it has been to be no money spent all year between all of the free content that has been done as of late and everything. I think you can build a very competent no money spent squad really, really quickly. But with that being said, we have spent some time on the pros. I think we have to go to the cons. Number one, communication. That is the biggest con with the Paul George situation specifically. Lots and lots of people got screwed over by that situation, and there was no communication whatsoever. All 2K did was wipe the MT of the people who took advantage of the glitch, and that was it. I do not think those people should have been banned. The people who have been ranting in my comments and raving about how horrible it is that a few hundred people got lucky and were able to get a bunch of good cards for free doesn't make sense to me. I've never understood the concept of being angry because something good happened to somebody else and it didn't happen to you. That's just a very salty way to live your life, and if that's your mindset, I don't know what to tell you. At the same time, we needed more communication from 2K. There should have been some sort of compensation to the community as a whole. It's something that should have happened, and it didn't. And we should have heard conversation from 2K, as in something along the lines of, our mistake, our bad. This happened twice now. We're gonna get better. We're gonna fix this problem, but it's not gonna happen again. We're gonna stop making this mistake, and here's some compensation for you in the form of a free diamond option pack. Probably would have been what I would have done. Some sort of good diamonds available, maybe even the diamond lock-in players for Kobe, something like that. I think that's what they should have done. The fact that there was no communication whatsoever around that Paul George issue. The communication on the season rewind issue was good, but I think that was bad. And I understand that 2K is on holiday vacation right now and their employees aren't in office. That doesn't mean that they couldn't have gotten one person to release a freaking post on their MyTEAM page about it and make one locker code. That they could have easily done that, and they should have easily done that. And the fact that they didn't is not good. Number two of the cons, and I think the most important con at the end of the day, is simply the fact that the gameplay sucks. It's just not fun to play, especially MyTEAM Unlimited. MyTEAM Unlimited is the most AIDS and unenjoyable mode to play in this entire game, and I have played very, very little MyTEAM Unlimited over the past two seasons, season 2 and season 3. I know my record says 15 and 17 this season. I have probably played about 8 of those games, and I would say my record this season Unlimited is probably 5 and 3, maybe 6 and 3, 6 and 4. I don't know. I've probably played between 8 and 10 games this season, and I do have a winning record. But I'm not having fun playing Unlimited. And so that prevents me from playing very much Unlimited whatsoever because it's not fun. The way people play is awful. They just sit in the corner defensively on their center the entire game. Don't even attempt to click on defensively. And offense is miserable. It's back cuts. It's run around in circles. It's mash. It's not a skillful offense. And it's very unfun to play in the MyTEAM Unlimited mode, which has basically ruined their flagship mode. Their flagship mode is now horribly unfun to play if you are a sweaty player because all you're going to match up against is sweats who have no morals and play the game in a very unskillful way. There's a lot of this game is harder than it's ever been to beat a low skill player who knows how to cheese the game because the skillful things are less effective than they've ever been. Is I think the fairest way to say it. Unless you want to run and fade, and even fades aren't as good as they were, but still, if you want to run and fade, also RNG feels stronger than it ever has. You play a lot of games where it just feels pre-decided on who's going to win the game. It really does. I mean, it happens a lot this year. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's a placebo thing, but it definitely feels like there are games you will play, and this is across the game, not just in Unlimited. It's always been true, but it feels like it's to a larger extent this year, where you just play games that the game just decides you're not going to win, and no animation goes your way the whole game. And I just don't understand the gameplay on this game. I have fun playing this game in every mode that is not Unlimited. All of the other modes that do not have skill-based matchmaking are more fun to play. Number one, because you don't match up against the best team in the game every single game. And number two, because the game modes themselves are a little bit more restrictive in terms of time or how much you're playing to or your roster that you can have in salary cap. And it makes it a little bit more intentional, a little bit more skillful, and just a little bit more fun to play as well because they're quicker games, they're shorter games. Even if stuff happens in those games that you don't like, at least least it's over quicker. Unlimited can be 35 minutes of absolute mental torture sometimes, and it is just not fun to play, and that is a really, really bad sign. When your flagship mode is a mode that nobody plays because it is not fun to play, that is a really, really bad sign. Unlimited needs a complete rework next year. We need a ranked mode and a non-ranked mode. And not only that, but the ranked modes needs far more transparency when it comes to having quality leaderboards explaining what tier of skill-based matchmaking you're in, or whatever the case may be, whatever rank you're in. Like, we need unlimited reworks, and also defense needs a huge rework. Off-ball defense is the best it's ever been. Fades need to be bad, and we need to not be good. Fades need to be like not good anymore, but off-ball defense needs to be toned down significantly. It's not something that is going to happen because MyTEAM is a mode that 2K as a whole doesn't care about compared to Park and My Career, and those modes are all user control modes, so AI defense isn't as huge of a complaint there. Or when you're playing against the actual CPU, obviously it's not as huge of a complaint either because you can cheese the CPU. Online, it could be a real. It's just, the gameplay needs a whole new rework, honestly. I think the whole gameplay system is flawed at this point. The entire next-gen engine just feels like it has huge issues, and every year it seems like it gets worse. And the real shame is this year was the best they'd had, at least since 2K22 current gen, in my opinion. At the beginning of the game and after Season 1, it just has been nuked, and it has not been fun to play ever since. When it comes to 5v5 unlimited gameplay, which is the most important, in my opinion, game mode that needs to be fun to play in the game. Finally, there are still too many lock-ins. Too many of the good cards, the most exciting cards in the game, are gatekept behind lock-ins. If you want to use Kobe Bryant this year, there is not a budget Kobe that you can buy. There is no affordable Kobe Bryant out there that you can buy right now. Kobe is exclusively behind a lock-in. With Wemby, there are 2 free agent cards, a gold card, and then a pink diamond that you have to lock in that costs $50 to get. The most desirable and exciting players, Giannis, Wemby, Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, KD, have been gatekept behind lock-ins this year, and they have not had great or even capable budget options really released for them for the most part, which I think is a big shame. And it's something that I'm honestly not exactly expecting not to continue, but I think it is a little bit of a shame that this many of the biggest names are gatekept behind these mega lock-ins. I think there only being one mega lock-in this season is an improvement, though. This Kobe set seems like it is the only actual full mega lock-in that we're going to get in Season 3, although I do expect we're going to get a mega lock-in quite soon for one Mr. Yao Ming, probably in the next month or so. It's going to be my guess. I think Yao is the next major lock-in because he is a big money seller. It would make a lot of sense, obviously. But I think it's a real shame that the truly most desirable 1 or 2 names each season seem to be gatekept behind lock-ins, and that is another smaller. It's not the biggest con in my opinion because I do think in general the cards themselves and the content has actually been a plus or a positive for the most part recently. But I do wish it wasn't that way at the same time, if that makes sense. So with that being said, those are my cons and those are my pros. So let me know what y'all think of my list in the comment section down below. What you agree with, what you disagree with, what y'all are enjoying about MyTEAM, and what y'all dislike about MyTEAM. Would love to hear y'all's thoughts, but if y'all did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.